All right, so the next Reader's Notebook page for day 1 is page 307, which is this grammar page. Now, we are going to be reviewing the use of the verbs be and have. So these are irregular verbs. They change forms whenever the subject changes. The subject and verb in a sentence must always agree in number and tense. So singular subject and present tense helping verb. This is an example of that. She is looking out the window. Now for this one, it really wouldn't make any sense if we're saying she are looking out the window, because are is a version of that verb that would only be able to be used if we were talking in a sense of plural. So since this is a singular subject, is the form of be that we would be able to use. The second example of a singular subject and present tense helping verb is the weather forecast has predicted rain. Now this is a form of have, which is actually in the present tense. Now we're going to talk about examples of a plural subject and past tense helping verb. So they, when we use the word they, we are talking about more than one person. So they were wearing raincoats. Now, if I was using this verb in a singular sense, it would be was. But because they is plural, it is now were. So they were wearing raincoats. Gary and I had brought umbrellas. Now, because we have two people, this makes our subject plural because we're talking about more than one person. So when we are using this, we have to be mindful of the tense of our verb, because that really does matter and it makes an impact on what we are writing and saying. So the activity we're going to do, and this varies, so if you have this on Edmodo, it's actually like a quiz where you have to type in the correct tense of the verb. Now, for you working on a paper packet, all you have to do is underline the correct helping verb in the parentheses for each sentence. Please, please, please follow these directions. Thank you. So number 1, my mom and I has or had gone out for a walk. Now, my mom and I is plural. So our subject is going to be plural, so we are actually going to use the verb had. My mom and I had gone for a walk. Number 2, the sun were or is shining brightly in the blue sky. Now, the sun is an example of a singular subject, so it's going to make sense for us to use the form of is. So the sun is shining brightly in the blue sky. So we're going to do one more together, and then the rest you'll be on your own. Again, please don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm here to support you in any way I can. So we'll just do one more as guidance. So number 3, the thick clouds are or is moving quickly. Now, notice how the thick clouds is plural, so we're going to use a plural tense of this verb. So the thick clouds are moving quickly. So again, make sure you're paying attention to the number. How many are we talking? Is your subject singular or plural? And make sure you're focusing on what tense the verb is in. Because if you're talking in past tense, you need to make sure that your helping verb is reflective of that. And if you're also talking in present tense, you want that verb to match in tense. Otherwise, your sentence isn't going to make very much sense. So again, make sure you're reading and making sure you're paying attention to how many subjects you are talking about, if your subject is singular or plural, and make sure you know what tense you are supposed to be in with your verb. So just follow those directions and underline the form of the verb that you think is correct.